shot. Glaive. Oh, that should have been way too much. Just triple spray down. Sip down here. Yeah, he's going to see just the edge. He's not going to kill. Finally picking up a double there.
Get out of here. What is going on? Zip picks! Another 2 for him.
Astralis come out with another very decisive win. G2 taking on Furia.
It's now or never for G2. It is now or never for them to perform.
They gotta be one of the best teams in the world, and they gotta show us from the get-go of 2020. Furia, they're probably going in as sort of like with a mixed team mentality that can be dangerous for their opponents, but it can fall flat very quickly.
Honda's gonna dive back into the sights, and he's got a chance here. He does hit 2 deeks, 3 deeks. Honda's got a 4th. Looking for the ace, and poor Hunter walks right into the crosshair. Shebang! Down. Vinny, he's holding, and Honda is successful. He's got himself 2 kills with utility, 3 kills, 4 kills, looking for the ace. He does it again. And a deep T smoke, but Nico double kill. Vinny inside the fire will be his 3rd. And the 4th, Kenny S. We've seen some slick shots. Let's see what he has to offer as him and Nico both take 1. Kenny delivers the double. A 1 versus 4, utility in front of him. There is no chance he wins this. G2 take the series.
Yesterday we started strong, and today we are going long with 3 best of 3s coming your way for more fantastic Counter-Strike action, including 1 elimination match at the very end of the day. I'm your host, James Banks, and to take you through all the action and to guide you throughout the madness that is the Blast Global Finals, I've got Maniac towards my left-hand side, and yesterday was certainly exciting.
Yesterday was a very good day. It was a very good day, a very good way to start the Counter-Strike season in 2021. And I cannot believe we're already going to say goodbye to a team after 2 days. Isn't it a bit brutal?
It is a bit brutal, but Pimp, you like a lot of brutal action to come out here, and we get to get rid of one of the NA teams.
I love it. I love it. You know, get the noobs out of here and let the good teams continue in the tournament. That's my mentality, which is my why I'm no longer playing and why Maniac is no longer playing. We up here. We are the noobs now. But James, you're spot on. I think we have good teams playing. I think we have EG, you know, looking slightly better than they did as of last year. And then you have Furia with a stand-in and a guy who can just ace all over the place. So we're looking for some good games today.
Yeah, there was a lot of aces coming out yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, you've missed a lot of great action, but you should take a look at the overview we have for you today. Already, Astralis and G2 march on forward. We've talked about it as well, the lower bracket matchup between EG and Furia. But today, we get Vitality, Complexity, Navi, Liquid, and my oh my, this is an interesting dynamic to see. Fallen, first of all, we get to see him under the Liquid banner, and we also get to see what Yugi might be able to add, or maybe not add, to Complexity.
I agree with you, and I think if history taught anything, and by history I mean yesterday, the Astralis EG game, is that we cannot discard Complexity. Because if you just look at the fact, then Vitality should be the favorites any day of the week. But Astralis, they had the jitters, they had the rust a little bit, they lost the map to EG, so I have reasons to believe the series is going to be interesting.
It certainly should be interesting. But I'm going to touch on the point that you left us with there, Pimp, is Honda. This man came out, we didn't know what we were going to get. We heard he was a bit of an aim star. Well, he certainly proved it in many ways. But the interesting factor was this lower ADR.
He had the X factor, right? You see on your screen right here, he was starting off hot, you know, with a deagle in hand. He did 2 aces within, I believe, 3 rounds or 4 rounds of that game. Starting absolutely fantastic. 3 aces total against a team like G2. That in itself is very impressive. Unfortunately for him, he fell out of the games, right? He had good starts to the games. He found impact early on, but he couldn't quite keep it up. So we saw the potential. We saw the X factor. We saw what he could be. But still, I think the, you know, first conclusion can be that maybe it's still a little bit too early for him to go toe-to-toe with the very best in the world. But he did show us that he has the abilities to do so, maybe over time.
But how many players have we seen fall at the first hurdle, which for me at least gives me confidence for the potential future of this young man?
I mean, I want to agree with you, but at the same time, if it weren't for these 3 aces, which were amazing, right?
Yeah.
What kind of conclusion would we have drawn from that first series? Right? He is very explosive, and he can be impressive, and some clutches are insane, but besides that, it was rather quiet, which honestly is what is supposed to be. His first event being the Blast Global Finals, just give him a break, give him a second, let him warm up to the rhythm.
and maybe we will get to see him warm up. We don't know what the future is going to hold for him, but we do know what the future holds for today in the games that you've got coming your way. Complexity versus Vitality, we touched on it briefly, is going to make Maniac either very happy or very sad, man. Then we go on to Team Liquid taking on Navi, where it's trial by fire for me and my emotions, and then we get the elimination match where Pimp potentially loses his mind. But all of these teams are fighting for one thing. They are fighting for this amazing trophy. And personally, I'd love to see a trophy in this size right in front of us on the stage. We've got a little one behind us to a degree as well, but these teams are fighting it out from start to finish for $1 million prize pool here. 600K for first place. And also, you might see just down below these TW Steel winners watches. Beautifully done, all in gold. If you have a 6-man roster, all the players would get it, the coaches as well. This is only for the champions. This is only for the winners. This is what they're all aiming for. This is the golden goal here at the Blast Global Finals. We love some Counter-Strike action on this desk, right? And we love to watch this all unfold. But guys, we got to really look at this in some detail of the games are just going to get better and better from here, right? We talk about elimination matches already coming into full swing of this, but we are going to be blessed with such amazing Counter-Strike from start to finish because we have so many of the best players in the world. We have so many of the best teams in the world. We're very spoiled.
We are very spoiled. And I said in the pre-show yesterday that it is quite a unique scenario that we have right here because all of these dynamic duos that we have on our screen, they're coming off a break into the biggest tournament possible in this year. That is quite crazy, and I think it's a huge challenge for everyone out there. But you know what? When I see like all of these names, I feel like I'm at the restaurant, my favorite restaurant, and all the meals are good. And I'm just deciding, which one am I going to focus on? But everything is good. Everything is good in there.
Which snack are we going to focus on first? And I'm going to start with the blamey and Config double duo, dynamic duo in here. Because these guys right now, blamey, the highest fragging IGL of last year, without a doubt, right? This man was popping off from start to finish. And a Config that found his form again under blamey.
Yeah, Config we know. Config we knew a couple of years ago. We knew the potential. We knew what he could do. He had some rough periods, you know. He was in North, then he was in Uptick. Couldn't quite find his home. Now he's back here with blamey. And as you said, the highest fucking in-game leader in the world. A guy that placed within top 7 of the best players in the entire world this year. Nobody, as in nobody, could have expected that. So when you match them up together, you have 2 Danish players. Let's point that right, because there's a lot of Danish
More
duos in
Danish,
this one.
yep.
More Danish stuff right here. But you have 2 Danish players who are not necessarily known to be the device to the priest, but they have the skill ceiling up there. They can be just as good when they hit their A-game. So this is a very dynamic duo, and they complement each other well. One being the in-game leader, another one being a hardcore entry fragger, always doing link with the rifle. So very potent duo.
And then when we look at another duo, and it's a different dynamic for sure, it's the Vitality side of things here, Maniac. Because something that I see could potentially change. It's ZywOo and Shox for now, but could it eventually be ZywOo and Navira?
Yes, that it looks to be the trend towards which Vitality is strolling right now because Navira is taking more and more space in maps. But if we focus on these 2 men, well, first of all, you have the best player in the world on ZywOo over there to your left-hand side. And then you have Shox, which is, I want to say, in an interesting trajectory. Shox is a player that at the point in time was the best player in the world in CSGO. He's one of the best players in all versions of Counter-Strike, right? 1.6 he played just a little bit, CS Source he was a king, and CSGO he started as an absolute god. Then he had a troublesome period. Shox quiet down. He lost his comfort, he lost his confidence, he lost his trust. But I think Vitality have been doing an amazing job and letting him finding the rhythm again, the tranquility. That's the name I want to mention for Shox, tranquility. Having a setting, stick to it, know what you're doing, have a rhythm, and perform again.
And one thing I love of it as well, it's Shoxy also coming back to life in showing us what he's got on the camera as well as in the game. Now we've got to look at EG though, because for EG, they're in a situation where many of us didn't expect too much coming out from, but this has been the same story. Whether it was NRG or EG, it's always been Ethan and Breeze.
You asked me a year and a half ago, and you wanted me to rate how good are these 2 together, how good is this duo. I would put them up there at least within top 5, maybe even top 3. They were world-class riflers. They were insanely good, especially with the rifles. Great aim, great abilities to take over the game and drop the 30 bombs in the game, simple as it is. As of lately, though, I feel both of them have slowed down. So if you had to rate these duos, I would even go as far as saying these are one of the duos with the most potential. We've seen what they can do, but as of right now, not the strongest of the strongest duo. These two guys right here, if EG want to find any success whatsoever with the lineup they have right now, they have to perform and they have to do it better than they've done the last year.
Yeah, that's it, right? It has to be continuing an upward trend for them guys. But this is the one that everyone knows and loves. It's the Astralis dynamic duo, and they're the double Ds of it.
Yeah.
It's the Vice and Dupree. And look
OG.
at this, 7 years together.
It's immense. It is quite crazy when you think about the timeline of Counter-Strike, and they are the original double D. The double D, Device and Dupree. And there is so much we can say about all these players. For Device now, I often say he is one of the best role model you could ever find in Counter-Strike. If you're a new player, if you're a new sniper, watch Device's demo, because you can learn from what he's doing. He's Mr. not making mistakes, have an impact. And also in a world where Counter-Strike got a little bit more brawly, a bit more messy, I think Device has done a good job moving a little bit away from the AWP, picking more the rifle, making the difference. And then Dupree, we have to give a minute to this man, because in a time where Astralis was struggling, he was the one saying, okay, I'll pick up the AWP. You want me to be the secondary? I'll do it. I'll try and snipe. He moved all the positions. Dupree takes the space, and I'm glad that he made the top 10 this year. I think it's a rightful reward for a man that has given so much in Counter-Strike and is still making so much difference.
Yeah, anything else to add?
I 100%.
There you go. I'm looking at you, Mr. Danish over here, to give us a bit more on it all.
No, but I agree. You know, they are the longest standing duo together. They're the guys you look up to. If you want to be an entry fragger, look at Dupree. Look at how he does it. If you want to be the AWP player, take a look at Device, study his demos, because those two, they know exactly how to find success. They're the most winning players in the game, and it speaks for itself. Look at the trophies.
And then we go on to the other side where there's limited trophies. It's the Navi camp where we've got Electronic and Simple. And again, these two consistently together stay within the top 5, top 6 best players in the world, but the trophies aren't there.
No, the trophies aren't there, but allow me to say that I think out of all these duos, out of all these world-class players, this may be the best duo that we have ever seen in Counter-Strike. The consistency coming out from both Simple and Electronic is unheard of. Of course, you have Simple being maybe the best player in the world. We'll find out tonight whether or not that's going to be the case for 2020. Yes. Another storyline we have to follow. And then Electronic being one of the top 5, top 6 for all these years without being the best. They've been together now for quite some time, but as you said, the one thing they're lacking to be considered the best duo of all time, in my opinion, is them winning tournaments consistently.
Well, that's what we've got to see, if they can bring that consistency to all of it as well. And then moving on to our next side of things, right, when we come to more duos in this, we got to just look that little bit further, a little bit deeper to G2, because this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
3 months together. Nico and Hunter, the cousins finally getting to play together, but we haven't quite seen it fulfill all our expectations.
I agree with you. I think we are left with a feeling of we want to see more of Nico and that G2, but this duo has something unique. They have the family relationship. And I think for the viewers, it's very important to realize that between these two, there might be something happening that we cannot quite grasp. We cannot touch it. We cannot feel it. But they emulate each other. They motivate each other. Maybe I want to be the best, or you want to be the best, and we try and give out 200%.
Yeah.
They have an interesting dynamic because they have this relationship. And if Nico might already be at the top of what he can do as a Counter-Strike player, I believe Hunter still has a margin of development, which makes this duo that much more interesting, because maybe one day Hunter will take over as the best player.
Yeah, we've not reached the peak with these guys just yet. Then we're moving over to North America again with the Furia duo coming into play. And this one is Yuri, who is a man, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit at time, and Keserato, the man who was at one point expected to go to MIBR.
He honestly, if MIBR would have gotten one of these two players, to be honest, we could see MIBR still be together. They could probably have saved MIBR back in the days. Thank God that didn't happen, right? Because they are working within Furia. They're working together, they're working in tandem, and they're doing one hell of a job. They're maybe one of the most underrated duos right now. They're not loud players. They don't go on the social medias and yell about how good they are. They don't really show up flashy on the server in the same way Simple does, or Saibu for that matter. But they are solid Counter-Strike players, and they are, to my understanding, one of the most underrated duos out there. Furia, and a lot of their success comes from their rifling abilities, and if they want to find any success this tournament and in 2021, they have to continue that progress.
Continuing in the North American trend, we go on to Liquid here, where we see Naf and islye. And islye, again, is this player that always is able to push the boundaries and push himself further. But Naf, the last couple of years, he's really come into his own.
He has. I think Naf has shown us over the years a tremendous versatility in how he can play, right? I think I see him as a clutcher, as a rifler, but he has shown to us previously he can play with the AWP. Positionally speaking, on the CT side, he knows where to be because he has a true game sense. Naf feels the game. I think it's quite unique in that sense. And then this man right hear islye, he has missed the consistency. I cannot remember the last time I had the feeling that islye was completely missing out on a series. I feel like you always know the very minimum you're going to get out of islye, and the minimum is already good. The minimum is already amazing, and when islye pops off, he takes over. But the minimum he's going to give to his IGL is already great.
And that's what you want if you're looking at a team, and that's what you want to look at if you're looking at these games. Those are our dynamic duos here for the Global Finals. We are going to a break, and then we are coming back with our opening best of 3 today between Vitality and Complexity.
Have the best Counter-Strike teams competing here in the world. I'm Semler, your host.
Yeah, I just wanted to be accurate. So you said we've got the best teams in the world and complexity.
This is the best team in the world going up against a team who, hasn't even been able to qualify for the major yet.
And Opo in a 1 versus 2, that's almost unwinnable. He's going to stand up for a kill. Oh my god, he turns around for it. An unbelievable round, a quad kill.
He got another one. Oh, that's 2 in a row, Poison.
Still stays alive. Oh, the flick comes in and Poison will take him down. Oh my god, I can't believe it. 16 and 12.
I've seen every big CSGO match ever. I can tell you that would already be like a top 5 upset of all time.
Who's ready for Vitality versus Complexity? I introduce you to North America's newest juggernaut. Complexity have one last beast to challenge.
We wanted to build Juggernaut, but we want to destroy the Juggernaut.
Of course.
And the Navi storm has come and conquered today.
Great job.
Juggernaut was a meme, now it's not a meme, now it's the future,
And there you have them, Complexity, end of the run versus Navi, but still nothing to be ashamed of. 2 huge wins this weekend here at Blast Premier.
Yeah, it all ended up in a pretty nice storyline, right? Having Complexity come through in this fashion, upsetting teams like Astralis, upsetting Vitality. It's an exciting, couple of days that we've had here, and it doesn't feel like we've had any losers other than maybe Astralis.
There's something special, and I encourage, the Counter-Strike diehards on Reddit and HLTV that are cynical at times to just come on this journey with us and believe for a minute, that special things are possible. We're gonna screw up, we're gonna lose games we shouldn't, but I promise you one thing, we're gonna be a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Everyone back home in the Complexity headquarters, they had on our Instagram yesterday, they had this video of everyone exploding in the player lounge when we won, and I saw it this morning. It brought tears to my eyes because everybody in our organization is so passionate about what we do, and we work so hard. This was a special week for us.
They have the talent, they have the roster, they have the map pool, they have everything.
Robs. Well, he just got wrecked by Ziwu. Back-to-back off headshots, and Ziwu's not missing.
I wouldn't be surprised if they at one point throughout this year will be a consistent top 3 team. There's so much skill in that lineup.
Flashbang goes out. He cannot run through this, and no! It stopped! Now Woxic's on top of the bomb. 2 seconds, it pops! Blame F! What a robbery!
The wall bang 1v2.
We are blessed with Complexity taking on Vitality to kick things off with here today. But really, for Complexity, it is not the most positive start to the year they would want here. We spoke about this already with Poison having to go to hospital. We're not sure what was really going on with him. We actually found out from Blame F. Freya was able to find out before this that at the moment, they're just not sure when it's happening. They want him to be in the best position, so it's a waiting game. So they've got Yugi standing in, and they're going up against one of the best teams in the world who really are just looking to overrun them, similar to what we saw at the Global Challenge.
It's a very frustrating way to start the year for Complexity, and there's no way around it. There is not even a different sentence I could use. I think frustrating is the term that we need to use for Complexity, because if you go back to 2020, they started the year with a bang, right? In London, last spring, absolutely making noise, taking names and whatnot, and then the rest of the year just has been just a string of obstacles and hassles and disappointments and some results here and there. They bring in finally JKS. We are all very excited about it, and now they cannot play with Poison. So it's just, oh, what's happening? Meh.
Imagine being JKS. Imagine being JKS, coming into Complexity, being promised, you know, this is the team where you're going to be the superstar. This is going to be the team where you finally can relieve all your potential. He's been playing in a stable home for his entire career with the Aussie boys. Never any problems, never any changes, never any conflicts within that lineup, at least not from the outside perspective. Coming into Complexity, as Matt just said, there's just been so many problems, and a lot of them they can't deal with. It's not their fault that we have COVID. It's not their fault they have to be, isolated at a hotel for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks while playing Counter-Strike. Not their fault Poison gets sick. But if you're JKS and if you're Complexity right now, it's just a little bit disjointing and a little bit disheartened that you have to deal with so many issues outside of the game.
One thing I'll say, though, for this lineup, they have a lot of strength, especially mental strength with this core 3, with everything they've been through over the past year. But we've got to ask the question, why has Yugi been picked for this roster? And blamey does have the answer for us.
I think Yugi is a very easy player to work with. And then, of course, like me in the config already knows him because he's Danish, of course. So it's nice to play with a guy you know that's just going to fit into the team very well. And I think it's very important when you're playing with a stand-in that is someone like everyone likes and everyone like enjoys spending time with and all that. So it's more fun for everyone because you're not going to play a good tournament if you're playing with a stand-in and then maybe people don't like him or there's some problems or a lot of stuff like if Yugi is just a guy that doesn't bring any problems to the team, and he's a really good AWP as well, and he wants to prove himself, so that's really important for us as well. So I think just he pretty much meets all of those criteria, and it's just he's a nice guy.
So how much practice time have you had with him, and has there been anything that you've been working on with him specifically as the in-game leader?
We had, as I said, like a week's practice, so 7 days practice. I think actually we had 1 day off day, so 6 days practice, I think. And so what I worked with him was just honestly to give him a lot of freedom and a lot of space, so he's like allowed to peek whatever he wants in all our defaults and all our strats and all that, and made sure that he doesn't feel like too much responsibility in the sense that we're not like having to rely on him, but we're trying to make him comfortable and give him space to do what he wants, kind of. But other than that, of course, we had to like make him a little bit comfortable with our strats as well. We showed him some strats and some defaults and all that. We had to do that, of course, on the different maps. Yeah.
So not a lot of time to get Yugi fitted in, but my biggest question surrounding this man is, can he even hang at this level anymore? There was rumors that he was going to Valorant.
Yeah, I mean, we can doubt about his individual level, and I think it's rightful. The only thing that goes for Complexity is I feel like Poison wasn't taking that much space, and the game wasn't created around Poison so much, so Yugi just fit in as a sniper. Poison was just taking the position he had to, and then hitting shots. Maybe Yugi can do that.
This is the absolute last chance for Yugi. He had a chance in Astralis, he didn't pick it up. He's had plenty of chances within Danish Counter-Strike, he didn't really met the criteria. If he's not performing right here, I believe his CSGO career may be over. So this is it for Yugi.
This could be it for Yugi for sure, Pimp. I do agree with you on that sentiment. But before we get on to Vitality, I want to start this veto because that tells us more of a story on what we might get from Vitality here. And Maniac, is there any hope here when you're looking at Complexity and what they can do?
I'm already surprised to see Complexity take off Vertigo. I thought Inferno would be the band they go through. Vitality will remove Train. I don't think they would allow that map to go through. But for Complexity to start with Vertigo, that means that Inferno is on the train. Okay, so there you have it. That's the legitimate ban for Vitality. Last time around, Complexity picked Nuke. They paid a price for it. I think Mirage could be an option if you consider the fact that Yugi is coming in for Poison. I would personally prefer to see Complexity go for Mirage instead of Nuke. That's what they do. Vitality have no real reason to change for their Dust 2 pick. That's been one of the maps they pick the most. It's a map they win. I think they have the confidence. There is no reason to change. They go for Dust 2. Sometimes life just makes sense, and I'm very happy. And for the third map, there could just be a handshake on Overpass. It's the map that is in the middle of the pack for everyone. It could be an Overpass at the very end, or it could be the last one, which obviously I don't remember which it is, because I always forget the 7th map in this veto. And there you have it. Sometimes it just works out. There you have it.
Biased analyst. got the info.
What biased? I have no information. It's just deduction in numbers.
Oh, okay. Well, this does mean, though, that we will see Nivera for sure, right? He'll come into the mix. And Nivera has been a player for Vitality that has blown us away in many ways. We weren't sure what he'd be able to deliver, but he seems to be in the perfect spot to shine on the maps he's been given.
He was one of those very positive surprise we had in 2020, right? We saw Vitality implement him as the first team in the world being the 6th player, and I think he made it work. You know, he made it work as a player. They made it work as a team, and Nivera opened up a lot of doors, not only for himself, but also for all other players out there in the world. Bobski wouldn't have played for Astralis had it not been for Nivera doing so well. So the 6-man roster from Vitality was a game changer in 2020.
And then we look at masuta. He'll play on the opening map, but masuta, this guy, I feel like he's kind of getting lost behind these bigger names where actually we should be putting a big spotlight on him.
I agree with you, James. I think he's a little bit overshadowed. What he is doing right now in Vitality is quite huge. I mean, he's a young player. He's only 18-year-old.
We forget that.
18. He's 18. He's still studying high school. Sometimes we see pictures of him just doing online lessons while he is playing. So that's insane. But also, he's been the first player to be taken out of the roster, then back in. And we have seen he has proven to us that he can perform one map, sit the next one out, and then play the third map in a very good way. But I just wanted to add about that 6-man roster. I think Vitality have paved the way in the sense that now teams can broaden their perspective in terms of map pool. Because what if you have a group of 5 players who feel uncomfortable on map X, say Inferno, for example, and then you add a new player in that just solves the problem. Structurally speaking, okay, you can have that AWP here, so I was going to go on the rifle, and suddenly the defense makes sense. This is the next level of Counter-Strike. This is where you go beyond your issues, because you add a new layer, you add a new player, a new profile, and some of the weaknesses you had turn into strength.
Well, they're all at the boot camp on the Vitality side, but they've got to take down Complexity in the opening game. Back at the Global Challenge, Complexity got overrun. Now with their first game of the new year with Yugi, can they get it done? Can they turn it around? We'll have to find out. We're about to find out after the break.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here for the second day, and starting off with Complexity and Team Vitality. It's going to be, I think, a fantastic game. I really look forward to it. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Samla, what about you?
Oh yeah, dude. This is good. I mean, how fortunate are we? Because coming into this week, I'm just like, okay, who are we going to get to cast? Kicking off the year, best teams in the world. And you and I get to cast the first seed on the first day and the second seed on the second day.
I know.
It's pretty good. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain too much here.
And I mean, I think there's a very, very good reason why they're seeded second here. But I really don't think people should be underestimating Complexity either. They're a really dangerous team for a bunch of different reasons. Obviously, we haven't seen the full effect of JKS, I think, really yet. I think that's sort of not lived up to the expectations. I don't think that means it couldn't, but I just wouldn't underestimate them. Saying that, though, I did pick Vitality. I think everyone did. The entire talent lineup went for Vitality.
It would be a
one.
stretch to go against Vitality right now with how good they are. I mean, you've got ZywOo. He's in contention for the top 2 player in the world, right? Like first or second, it's up for grabs between him and Simple.
Yes.
So, not only do you have that, you've got young fraggers that are really coming into their own, and Masuda, for example. I mean, like, there's just so much there for Vitality to work with. Whereas Complexity, that's what they were talking about a lot on the desk. It's just constant stories of stand-ins for these guys. They just cannot seem to get a roster to stick together for a long period of time to build on.
I know, it's a little bit upsetting because they have such a great core, so we'll see how it goes. Starting here on the CT side, it's Vitality, Complexity on the T side, flashing their way in the middle and running right into ZywOo and that USP, a one-shot headshot to bring down Config. They're going to keep going. They want to see if they can wrap on that B-bomb side and go straight for RPK, but he's taking out JKS, so one arm of the attack already done with, although a little bit trickling into the bomb side there. Misuta showing up just as RPK died, so suddenly it's a 3-on-3 with the bomb down, and they actually have a P250 there on Blame. Yugi goes down though, but they can fight for this. Oh wait, they can't. Shots is just executing them, and Apex obtained out Rush. It looked like they should have been in a position to at least make that a bit more competitive, but Vitality too dangerous.
I feel ashamed to mention, you know, it's like we were a little limited on time because these guys really did have a very quick pistol round here. But I mean, Shoxy's the highest rated player on this team.
Yeah.
He's just flying under the radar. You know, that's the depth that's on Vitality. You've got the insane star power in ZywOo. You've got the young guns that are coming up in their own. But then you still have these rock solid players like Shoxy and RPK that you can just rely on. And so look at how, I mean, that pistol just highlights it. Shoxy just strolls in, 2 headshots, super clean, and just rolls right on through. So this is where Complexity, I mean, already this backfiring. You know, I think they go Mirage, same reason that Furia goes Mirage yesterday. It's just the pug map now. It has become the map that relies on fragging, and if you don't have a hard roster to fall back on, this is probably your best shot, right, to start strong.
There has been this weird consensus that Mirage is played out somehow, that, you know, people have done all the strategies. I don't really think, I don't think that's even possible, just from like a theoretic point of view. But but if everyone agrees and no one is coming up with anything new, then it, you know, like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in some sense. So maybe that's also why people pick it sometimes. It's like, yeah, we all know how to do this more or less. So that could be part of it for sure.
I think it's just pugs. I mean, when you're playing pickup games, 90% of the time it feels like you're getting Mirage. Everybody's just getting hours in on this map, much more than like Train, for example, or something.
Well, I mean, with the stand-ins for Complexity, you might just think, all right, well, you know, we feel like that's all right. Maybe we can get there. Maybe we could get some work done. They're doing fine in this round. They've already got 3 kills. It's down to Masuta and Shox here at the bomb site, and Complexity actually not rushing to try and get the bomb down, which normally at the A bomb site you want to try and hurry up that, but they're doing a fine job. Masuta in trouble, and he's going to go down to Rush. They turn that second round, and I really admire the patience. Those 2 AKs did a lot of work, but I think really the fact that they weren't just
and get it done. So let's see. I mean, it's so hard to say right now in Elite CS. It feels like every match is just so close. But it is worth mentioning. I mean, Vitality, number 2 team in the world, going up against Complexity, number 12 team in the world. So Complexity still very clearly the underdog in this match. With the stand-in, they do have that Sisyphean task on their hands of rolling that boulder uphill.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, from my perspective, watching Vitality, if you go back and look at their demos and how they actually play the games, which is something that's, you know, we don't get the full, I would say, experience of that while the game is actually going on, because there's just so much to cover in, you know, while the game is live. But if you ever go back and look at it later, it's absolutely outrageous what they get up to on any given map. They are so well prepared that just there aren't many teams that sort of get to that level. I hope there will be many more because it's just such an entertaining kind of Counter-Strike to watch. It's really, really worth it. They're on the CT side now, so chances are we'll be seeing just a little bit less of it here, but I'm sure we'll try and catch some of it as it unfolds.
How much do you think that has to do with their coach, XD+mey?
Oh, a lot. There's just the level of preparation that you need to do what they're doing in some of these games. It has to be a team effort. So much work. And speaking of team effort, RPK and Shox, and then Shox with the follow-up. He's going to get a headshot on Config as well, and that will shut it down towards Connector. That was looking so doable. They'd made their way into that Connector part, and JKS way out in the open. It's Shox with a quad kill to bring it back for Vitality. And that really had nothing to do with the sort of like tactical finesse that I was trying to highlight here. That was just Shox.
That was just Shoxy. It's the same as the pistol retake. You know, it's like, oh, this is going to be a bit spotty. No. Shoxy showed up to play today. This guy, I mean, it's Shoxy. He's a legend in CS. He's got a long, storied past. Always been at the top. Always been at the elite teams. And, well, star. But he doesn't even need to be the star anymore. He went through a long period of time where he was trying to figure out his game, having to in-game lead, having to step away from that star player role. On this team, he's made it clear. I just want the frag. I want to just kill people. If Apex gives them that freedom, and this is what we can expect, it's just another layer to Vitality.
I hope he stays with that mentality, because that seems to be, from the outside, one of the things that was plaguing him, in his career, like the middle of his career, was trying to take on too many other tasks all at the same time. Suffering from Nicoitis.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I just got to do it all.
The medical profession says.
Just got to do it all.
Yeah, but this fourth round should be somewhat controllable here. They're playing quite far back. They've lost Apex already. Still just a scout on Saiwu, not the AWP just yet. But RPK is on a mission, and actually Config is waiting for him. So I'm kind of worried about that. Yeah, Config going to be taking on RPK. He was sneaking up over on the A side and got shut down in T spawn. So that's heads-up play. Again, Complexity, remember in that second round when they were slowing down inside of the A bomb side and playing it patiently? It's rewarding them again here, just allowing for Vitality to maybe make an extra mistake, and they just did.
Yeah, and what a call coming in here from Vitality as well. The full-on gamble. Willing to just risk it.
Might as well. Save the AKs.
Yeah, if they come to A site, you're in position with the guns, and you have the best chance possible to wreck them with all three there. And if they hit B, you save the guns for the next round. So this is a great call from Vitality. There was no hesitation at all once they lost RPK. That was the call that made it happen very quickly.
This is delicious, though. If you're into some scrappy Counter-Strike, this is what you want. They just keep trading rounds early on, obviously, for a bunch of different reasons. It'll be the CT side that's going to suffer more in terms of economy long-term if it keeps going back and forth like this. But usually, it's just whatever team folds first and decides to go on the really hard eco. They're going to be a little bit behind, and we'll see how that goes. That's great. Config with 2 kills, just the AK-47, and we've been talking about some of the star power and just the brilliance of Vitality. I really don't think, I can't really oversell it to you guys. I really think this team is incredible. But Complexity have some absolutely nuts players on their side, and Config is high on that list. And there are a bunch of games where Config is just, middle of the road, playing a good game, having a good impact, being an important pillar of it. There are some games where he just takes over the whole game, and those are the games that are worth hanging around for, because it's so interesting when that happens.
Well, this is the beauty of Complexity, of the juggernaut that has been assembled by Lake, the owner of I was going to say Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Complexity. I mean, they are owned by the Dallas Cowboys, but they have Config, they have the star power, right, and JKS and Config, they have the support and rush, and then they have a fragging in-game leader. I mean, BlameF is up there. He just kills and calls. The guy can do it all. And so it really does feel like Complexity. It's just a tragic series of events, how it's all played out towards the end of last year going into this year, where they just can't seem to get that fifth man for the roster to build on, because they have everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still think the sort of commitment to it, I think is a great sign at the moment.
It's worth mentioning, though, Anders, as we get into this, it's like even with all of that, they're still making top 8 in elite tournaments consistently with a stand-in, right?
It's really something, isn't it?
So just give them a fifth man to build on, and let's get it done, right? Let's see what this roster's capable of.
It's gonna come in time. It's a new year. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Again, mid being controlled right now by Complexity without too much of a fight from Vitality. They're not really battling that at the moment. Shock's just waiting in the corner, and he's able to get the kill. He should not be getting a second one. And technically he didn't, although it did create enough of a distraction for both Apex and Cyber to come into it, and that's going to be the end of the round. Shock's in that position. I mean, you would assume that maybe he should have even got no kills, but the trade in there and just the overall confusion, that's a little bit upsetting, because that's actually how they lost that that third round as well. It's something very similar. Like, they get into middle and then they don't have the smokes or the molotovs or the grenades to clear out. I mean, very commonly this position that Shock is in will get molotoved out. There will be, you know, many more grenades in window to stop Apex from having an effect, or maybe even a smoke towards where Cyber took that shot from. Just, there weren't enough grenades there for Complexity to block out the Vitality team, and that just cost them a lot. So the trades continue. We're back now with Vitality winning a round. And Complexity won a timeout. Like, hold on.
Yeah. But I totally appropriate from Complexity at this point. You can't just keep force buying and hoping to make it happen. Although, as I say, that Config just dumps his money into an AK and a Kevlar. So they will have the hero rifle here, Complexity, the Soviet AK. But the main thing is, you know, take a timeout and start actually trying to build something. You can't just keep expecting to trade rounds back and forth with Vitality. Vitality are going to get comfortable, and they're just going to start wrecking your face completely. So it's a good time to call a timeout and start trying to figure it out, what it is that you need to be doing to change things up. Config hitting headshots would be a nice thing to start building on, not going to lie.
Yeah, that's a great way to begin. Now look at the Vitality in the middle, though. They're checking out what's coming, and that's also why RPK is playing very defensively over here. He knows that there's really no one in middle, so he just needs to stay alive on this A side in case it is going to be an A hit, and then he can try and go for a retake or something along those lines. Now, he's actually playing quite deep into the bomb side, and his teammates, they've shown up towards Connector, nearly getting that spray down. Apex is going to trade the one there, and lining up inside of the smoke for a headshot is Rush. 3 versus 4 now, and they're very seriously damaged on the Complexity side, so I don't know about this. They might get the bomb plant, and that might be worth celebrating all on its own here for Complexity, but winning the round, I'm not so sure. Oh, I can't believe he got that kill. And Yugi with a follow-up, taking down Masuda. I might have spoken too soon. There's Config with a headshot, taking down Apex, and now it's all on Saiwu. 1 versus 3, taking down Config, but there's much more to do here, and he's in a lot of trouble.
It is certainly not going to be a clear-cut scenario, because he still could think that blamef is up in Palace unless he spots blamef here on the ramp. As he peeks, not going to happen. And you can't blame him. He's expecting him up there. Yeah. But you got to give it to blamef for the timing. Taking down Shoxy. Shoxy is the key to that retake for Vitality. They slowed it down because he was coming in on the flank, and him just getting bopped like that, blamef, he just knows. If somebody were to flank, it would be right about now. Turns around and executes him.
That's unreal. Yeah, Shock's very frustrated. I can't really blame him. And that's a classic Apex face.
So much emotion, though.
He's one of the most memeable people in professional Counter-Strike, and I very much appreciate him for that as well, apart from his game and his leadership. But
the facepalm meme.
There are so many of them.
Back. Yeah. You guys know which ones.
The fact that no one's created an Apex meme compilation at this point, that should be a video already. No memes this time, though. He's going to take down Config with just a FAMAS, and they buy into it. They've got the AWP on side. If you're on the Vitality side, that's always a reason to buy. Just get whatever you can around it, and maybe it'll work out, although blamef will take down Apex, almost getting the jump there as well on Masuta. He's out in the open, sorry, RPK, and he's going to be going down. Saiwu in a 1 versus 3. Don't fight him. It is not worth it. He's going to drop JKS. He keeps running forward, nearly actually tagging him. He would have killed him if he hit that shot. And now it's a 1-on-2. They need that bomb down, and they need to try and put some distance between them and this AWP. Oh, flicks right through the box. Yugi's down, and I think he spotted it. I think he knows where Rush is. No, maybe not. Actually, he's looking the wrong way, and that scope could prevent him from ever seeing anything. If he unscopes, it's going to give it away. Rush, though. This is... Oh, he's got the angle. I was going to say, if he kept peeking into that, he would have been dead. They barely survive.
So unbelievably close. And it's the fact that it's Yugi with that bomb and connector as well, right? Zaiwu's taking that fight with the exact person that he needs to be stopping that bomb plan happening.
The first kill from Cyber, I think, was also through a box. I'm wondering where that was. Yeah, this is Rush at the end, just...
It's red eye peek. He's just got that angle. He's going to see more of Zaiwu than Zaiwu can see of him, even if Zaiwu was unscoped rather.
What a brilliant start for Complexity. They finally broke the economy. Vitality have to go for a save, and they're up 4-3. That means they've got a very good shot here of just doing a lot of damage. The Mac 10s are in. Money being made by Config. 3 kills like that.
Vitality need to show some respect here, though. That's what I'm wondering. That round spins out of control off of Shoxy pushing ramp and just giving up a kill needlessly at the very beginning there. So they're up a man, and then they start making some plays, right? Start feeling it on the Vitality side, and maybe they start underestimating just a little bit. And it's like you were saying, Anders. There's a lot of fragging power on Complexity. If you start letting your guard down against players like Config, like JKS, they're going to shoot you in the face, and then you're going to lose control of the situation. And I'm pretty sure that's what we just saw right there from Vitality. So the Frenchman needs to kind of rein it back a little bit here and start taking Complexity a bit more seriously. Play some solid CS. No need to take risks here against Complexity. You should win out.
They actually have taken a bit of a risk in stacking 3 men in the bomb site, but it might pay out very well. They're about to have another one in there, even though they did just lose Misuta, but this bomb site is so well defended. I think Complexity are under the impression that they've beat some sort of timing and found a weak spot, but that is absolutely not the case. Apex going to take down JKS, and just like that, it's a 2-on-3. The grenade kill there is pretty decent, but it doesn't really save them. Yugi's going to be going down, and yeah, stacking B that early in case it was some sort of an early attack. That was a great call. Out of spawn from Vitality. They didn't have the early information. They went for it. If that had been a fast A instead for Complexity, I think there was nothing they could have done really, and probably would have lost that round. But what a call. 5-4.
Yeah, 5-4, building off of this, taking a look at how the stats play out for Complexity. I mean, I think that they really do need to get as much done as possible on the T side. At least in the last 7 times they've played Mirage, 38% win rate on CT side, and that's with stand-ins. And they haven't had, 6 days of practice with Yugi going into these matches does not mean you're going to get a big build-up.
Deep flash for the double spray down, and that worked perfectly. That was set up so nicely. And actually maybe even a little bit shockingly so, because it seemed like they knew. Complexity were far back around that corner. I'm shocked that no one was playing anti-flash in that position, because that's not that much of an uncommon play. Finding a kill, though, is blamey, and that brings it back into a 3-on-3, so fair play. Rush also got a kill early, obviously, so with a lot of time left, this isn't so bad for Complexity. They can just wait around. They can easily get to a bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, Vitality keep giving kills that they don't need to. I mean, Misuta being pushed up there, that's really odd. Because of this. Now look at the spread here. What happens is that blamey slows it down, and Vitality have to spread back out again across the map with 3 players. Apex now has to sit all the way over on the B site. He had to rotate over, and now RPK all by his lonesome on the A site. There's soon to be 3 players here from Complexity. If RPK doesn't frag out, and he got spotted, and there it is, the headshot from JKS. Brilliant stuff here from Complexity. It's working out wonderfully. Shoxy's going to be the one here. First one for Vitality on the site. Going to find the first kill on Rush. Gets the second as well. And now we're into a 1-on-1. It's the best situation possible for Vitality.
When Apex, he's already snuck in. He's just waiting there. blamey spots him, and he's not going to miss the opportunity. A triple kill here for the captain of Complexity. And that's very, very interesting. A lot of money lost in that round for Complexity, but they still end up winning out. I think RPK, he dinked JKS. He was down 1 health after that battle, so that was real close.
I think he got him through the edge of the box there, that little bit of wood on the top,
Save.
Probably just caught that edge and, not enough.
Wow.
Still, this is working out wonderfully, but it's working out exactly the way it has to for Complexity. They need to develop a lead on the T side here of Mirage. Because when they get over onto the CT side, that's where Vitality come into their own. They're stronger on the T side, Vitality. And while, you're obviously not going to have had enough time to really build for that CT defense on Complexity side, so they need to just get kills, although you can't be giving up headshots to RPK. 2 headshots, bring it to a 2-on-3.
He's got that low sensitivity, so when he moves around like that, there's a reason we call him the tank. It does feel like that. Misuta 1 versus 3 with the deagle, and bomb is being planted out there. Does make his life a little bit more tricky, and he'll go down to JKS at the end of it. So, yeah, 7-4. Things are looking real good at the moment for the Complexity side. This is very smooth. Ooh.
You guys are going to see what I'm excited about here. Zao, he was waiting, and then he goes for the glass cannon op. So we're getting a double AWP setup here from Vitality. This is how they're choosing to change things up on Complexity. They're going to go into the full turret mode here, set up and look for shots. And here's Iwu already finding the first one, top mid, config down. More bodies here for him to take shots at, though. He's got to be careful.
Grenade lands on him, and with no body armor, he does take a lot of damage. Apex is going to go down, but ZywOo's still in here. He's so crazy. You know, I mean, I can't really escape, but going back for more fights here and not just waiting for teammates, that could be risky. 2-on-3, though. It is looking real good as RPK defeats Rush over at the A side of the map. So now blamef and Yugi. blamef got the message.
Timing.
Bullet to the face. ZywOo back here. Just peeking for information. And they know where blamef is, so now he can just run away. They know where both the remaining players are. That is, I mean, it's very, very bold play out of ZywOo, but that's what he does.
He's going to be in the perfect spot now. Just falls all the way back. And now with 55 seconds, I mean, that's the one thing, the boon that Complexity have here is that they still have so much time on the clock. 50 seconds, and Yugi's already rotating over here to A. If he catches the flank, fantastic. If he makes some noise, even better. And he's going to try and draw some attention over here, leaving blamef to clutch it out on the other side of the map. And he is not going to win the duel versus RPK. 1v3, blamef already having taken a bullet to the face. And ZywOo's ready and waiting for him as well. ZywOo is not backed off. Oh, yeah. But he gives up the angle.
He does, actually. I mean, he's got no armor and he's sort of low on health, so maybe he's just thinking if he shows up and puts the bomb down, I'm just gonna hang out and wait for everyone else to come, and then we'll retake and win like that. No one's moving. Didn't hear him drop apparently. Now they're gonna start to realize, and blamef, he is gonna go straight for the bomb plant. See if he shoots him through the box or not quite. He's gonna go straight for it. Doesn't even matter. Nice round out of side. Only the 2 kills, but just the presence in middle really shut down the whole thing. So a 5th round on board for Vitality is really good. And no bomb plant means no buy in this round for Complexity. If they forced it up here, I feel like that would be on a whole new level.
Well, they got so much success earlier from just going for force rounds, right? It's looking like they are going to elect to hold into just the Deagles. Pretty much a hard eco.
Yeah.
Deagles, some Kevlar. No, not even a single flash grenade picked up, funnily enough. Like one flash grenade? One flash chucked over?
Always one. Always get one.
That's interesting.
You never know if it could be the difference. But yeah, so we're going to be seeing some deagling perhaps in this round. We've seen some interesting stuff coming out of RPK already, but now would be a good... I mean, if they steal away around like this, that would start, I think, to dig in even to like the... You know, some of the mentality of the Vitality side. JKS is going to pick up 1 there, but he's in a weird position now. Fall back just a bit, and the grenade will still chase him down.
Get dunked.
Yeah. Thought he was safe, didn't he?
Yeah. You're going to hold that angle? Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this HE at your feet. Don't mind me. P250 long range. Not going to be good enough either. And so we will have Vitality. Looks like they'll be handling this anti-eco fairly well. I mean, if they get out of this having only lost RPK, that's actually pretty solid. You just give him the FAMAS next round from Isuda and move on with your lives.
Yeah, they're going to be fine with it. That is, even though we're getting kind of late into the first half here, we just don't want to have to play the 15th round with anything lacking. Apex doing a fine job at the end, and again, they were only as Deagles. It's an ace, but, you know, stretched out, maybe not the most impressive one, but it all counts. It all counts at the end. 7-6 as we move into the 14th round. And, I mean, I still think Complexity have done a pretty good job here, getting the 7 rounds. Whether it'll be enough, I think we'll just have to wait and find out. I do think that the interesting bit will be how much the game changes when Vitality are the ones in the driving seat and they can sort of decide what to do. And I have pretty high expectations of the overall level of preparedness for their T side here.
Right.
So I think it's going to be tough for Complexity.
The T side for Complexity is, the T side for Vitality. We don't have a whole lot to go off with, though. They've only played the map, the Mirage, twice in the last 2 months. Whoa! There you go! Ready for him!
Yeah, you think flying that conflict plane through the skies is going to help, you know, stay clear of the ZywOo flak cannon? It just didn't. It blew him right out of the sky. He is so amazing to watch. And again, the same pop flash that we saw earlier, but this time Yugi actually beats it. Shox is going to help out with a little bit of a kill there. Still a 4-on-3 in the middle. And, I don't know, they're taking a long time. JKS nearly catching RPK. That would have been really, really good. And then ZywOo shows up for the kill as JKS is preoccupied looking towards RPK. Not connecting this time. Gambling through the smoke. blamey hoping that he's not on the wrong side. This is a dangerous game. Why are they playing that game?
He heard the jump out, though. Now, does he go Apex? Does he just do it? Just jump out. Jump out the window.
Run him down. I don't know what they're going to do here. 35 seconds. 2 versus 4. I'm not even sure what the plan really is. In terms of money, I mean, they're going to be in a lot of trouble in the next round. A bomb plant here would be critical, but you could even make an argument for saving the AKs, because they really won't have a lot to work with. They don't have the round loss bonus. There are a lot of things working against them right now. Bomb plant would do a little bit to help that out, at least help the rest of the players pick up something. 10 seconds, and Yugi, he's the one with the bomb, trying to see if they can walk into it, but blamey goes down. Yugi is going to get the bomb plant, so I still think that's very little sort of consolation at the end here. They're not going to get much more done. So an $800 bonus, but they do lose both the AK-47s. I kind of sort of wonder if that's even worth it, but
they'll get 3 lost rounds bonus plus the 800. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be the wealthiest buy.
I still think the 2 AKs might have been better.
Well, let's see. What is this?
He's just here to jump.
He's just too good, man.
I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
He is. It's the peak opping. Although I saw Cuban making a point this morning actually on Twitter, talking about how the top 3 players of this year are all oppers.
That's a good point.
He's like, what do we think about that, right? Is it good that they're all oppers, or should they be riflers?
It's fine.
There you go, Masuda.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fine. I don't want to change anything.
You believe in the big snooper rifle?
Yeah, I think it's in a fine position. I think people just need to do more, or we just need more oppers, or everyone start opping. It's going to be fine. Misuta handling himself very well against the incoming scrappy buy here, and yeah, they're just going to get shot down. Again, 3 people very quickly on the bomb site. Very quick rotation coming in here from the CT side. So it looks like after a very, very hard-fought beginning and a very tricky start to the map here for Vitality, they're going to end up 8-7. So I think that's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't complain too much about that, and I think they're going to be doing very well in the second half. We'll find out after the break. Welcome back once again. Second half coming up. We are still on Mirage, the first map in this best of 3 between Complexity and Vitality here at Blast Premier. And, I mean, the scoreline's pretty pedestrian at the moment. It's 8-7 in favor of Vitality, but it looked like it was going to be horrible for the French side. They really did not have a good start. A nice recovery, I've got to admit, and I think they're going to be just fine. I think this is